Hello teacher, my name is Tuấn and now I will continue my part with the next part of my friends Pham Vu Thien. So right now I will introduce to you about the methodologies of the web 4.0. In this part I will introduce to you how we can conduct methodologies to makes the right definition of the web for phone out. So let's start with the first one, the methodologies. So for the first one, to conduct, um, to master these methodologies, we need to take the 5 steps. The first one, we need to decide. That means we need to list a lot of questions to make a full reviews of the web for phones out and how all the people who use the internet or the researchers, professionals in the fields, they can define this web for phone out. And the second one, we continue to the past with the conducting. In this part, we will identify in the relevant work. That means we can start the first part of our conducting. So and the next one is the assessment, assessing the qualities of the study to make sure the qualities of them is good enough or acceptable by the wide range of the communities. And we and the next one we will start with the collecting. Collecting means that we will summarize the evidence. We have a lot of figures that we collect from the internet. So right now we need to analyze it, and the analysis things is the next step. So let's start with the first one. As in here you can see we have the full um, conducting step. The first one is design. Yes, it includes lots of information. The first one we need to define the research question. The next one is define the search process, and the third one is defines the ECS and ECS. That means the integrated components and external component which we can use in our research and what we don't use in our research. And the second step is conducting, which include the search, performance, study selection, and data collection. And the third step is assessment. We define and evaluate the QAS. And the fourth step is collection. That means we need to make the data synthesis and we receive the results. After all of the first step, we continue with the analysis. We will start with how we can discussion to finding the rules or the more common acceptable by the society. So research question, yes, as I mentioned in the last one, that's is here in the design step. We need to make the research question. So for the first question, research question 1, the how many studies on the web for phones out have been published since the 2009, and what the concept and the research topic are associated with web for phone outs. So for and the next one we will start with the 3 main sources that I can find the figures or the data which I can use in this searching. And so for the first, that I use the scientific journals. Is all of the title which we can receive on the internet with a public um, on the internet and widely accessible by the professional people. And the next one is the conference proceeding. It means in a lot of conference we have a lot of minutes to write down all of the information about what we discuss what we think on about this field, and in here I will include some of the figures from the conference processes about the Web 4.0 and about the books. Yes, in this book is also include the books chapter, some of the books chapter. So next is in here I will use some terms which I use to defining the Web 4.0. So in here the first one is the Web 4.0, second one is the Web social computing, Web of things, and the three orders which relate to webs. The first thing is the symbiotic, the second one is the pervasive, and the third one is the ubiquitous. And the qualities of the assessment, that means what we can improve in our research, which can list in here, and what we don't use in our research, which is defined in here. In the inclusion criteria, which will include all of the study which is written in English and it is more acceptable by the scientists, societies, and we don't use any the non-English language studies. And the second one within the inclusion criteria, that is the peer review study, including the conference processing, the journals, and the book chapters. Publish the books available in the Amazon library. The study that focus on the Web 4.0 paradigm, the study published in the 2009, and what we don't use. And the second one is that the study that we not related to the research topic. The duplicated study, that means what we use before that we don't use in the next one. The technical reports, yes, in some technical reports, it just relate to the technology basically, but it's not include any the academical researching, as we can do the thesis. And the last one, that we use the magazine, news, and blog. So to continue with the data collecting, that means we need to the wide range of resources to correct them, and then in the next part we need to make some standards that we use in our researching. And the first one, we can find our terms. Yes, I mentioned before that we need the types of the documents in here, reference of the each document, research questions and issues, the summaries of the definitions, Web 4.0 concept, and the last one is the list of the dimensions associated with the Web 4.0. So the data analysis. After collection, we need to analyze what we improve in our research. And the first one, as I mentioned before, that we will quite range of the research, the study that we need to find out. So I use this number, the first one, to the number of the studies. How many the study that we published from the 2009 to this moment, to addressing the research questions one that include the answers of the research that published from the 2009 to this moment. And the last one is the terms which associated with the Web 4.0 definition, which will address the research question too. And the last one, that the several dimensions related to the Web 4.0 paradigms addressing the research too. So after conducting the research and analyzing them, we have this of the table, which include the percent of the research that we can find out on the internet. And for the journal, you can see in here it just start from the 20%, but is clearly that over a period of their 8 years is stopped at their 45%, and the peak of this in here it read about the 2004 and the 2009 as about just under the 60%. And on of the order, the conference book and the book chapter, it starts from the just about the 20 and the 5% respectively, and all of them stop as the flow finger just about the 10%. But you can see from the conference fingers, it reached the peak of this in the same time with the journal, with the 60%, just about the 60%. So we can see in the 2014 we have a lot of conference relating to the Web 4.0, and a lot of people who related to the computer science, they conduct the conference to make clear the definitions of the Web 4.0. And in here the research conduction, yes, in the table before, as I mentioned, we have tons of the data which I include in here, the Web 4.0, the numbers of the item. Yes, experience a long time is about the 19%, and the symbiotics is 2, and in here we influence on of the fingers, the number which relate to the research of the conduction. And so after figure out all of the information, we have the everything which related to the Web 4.0. So in here there are 5 main things you can see in this mind map. I just wrote it about the previous date. So you can see in here the symbiotic web and the web of things, web of the social computing, ubiquitous computing, pervasive web. And in here in the web social is includes a lot of the wide range of the information from the social network, mobile computing, cloud computing, and artificial intelligence. Some of them will connect with each other. For example, the web social computing is the social network. It includes the big data, but in the Internet of Things it also includes the big data. And some of them, the artificial intelligence is include the MQL, and is the Internet of Things is also include the MQL. To frankly, in this semester I will also study about the Internet of Things, so hopefully in this semester I can understand more about that, how we can apply the Web 4.0, and to introduce to you about the some common functions of the Web 4.0. Read my achievement documents in this draft files. So I hope you can understand and make you more clearly about the Web 4.0. So thank you very much for listening. This is the end of my presentation.